So have they come back to their marks. And a little mop of the brow before we go racing here. It is a straight sprint, don't forget, 23 laps ahead of us. Kept them waiting an awful long time. I do feel sorry for the leaders here because the engines are ticking over, and those at the back just have that little bit of an advantage, one thinks. So the heat haze is arising here and the exhausts are pumping. We are pumping as well, so is everybody. It was terrific racing here. It's on one of the finest tracks there is out there. We're in Turkey, it's Istanbul. It is, of course, round 8 of the GP2 series. Everyone getting to their marks. We're ready to go racing here. 23 laps ahead of them, no stopping. Not on purpose anyway. Started just checking everyone is in position and correct. And the light board awaits us here in Turkey. Sprint race time it is, and here we go. The revs rise with the light board. It's all in red. How long will they hold them? Bang, underway, not held at all. Chanduk doesn't get such a great start. Adam Carroll makes a superb jinx, so does Nakajima. Nakajima's up into second place already. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Carroll had to back out of it there because it was Pantano got in front of him, and here they are, 3 wide coming in, 3, 4, all cleanly through. One spinner we've got, I think it's Tung that's let go here, and having a look a little bit further down, we pick up Zuber and also Timo Glock's on the march here. Super start there, you have to say. Lovely jink by Nakajima.
Yeah, Nakajima got it hooked up very well, didn't he? I think the spinner at the back was Kai Leinen, actually, in the BCN car. But yeah, Nakajima, excellent start up into second place.
All strung out nice and tidily here. Little change already straight away. So many lines into the curve. There's only one out of it. You've got to get in and ready to take it as quick as you like. They finally do settle down, and contact it is. Coming through the corner. Who's gone, Gareth?
Looks like one of the Supernova cars again, having a disastrous weekend after taking pole. That's Zuber.
Zuber's come straight back in. Well,
I mean, he's basically, he hasn't made the start, has he? He's come round on the green flag lap and gone straight in the pits.
His nightmare continues. I think that's why the starter was actually just trying to pick it out. It wasn't Zuber that we picked up earlier on, then it was Glock. And look how handy this is. Tahinchi just wrestling with the wheel. So many different lines coming in, as you see, and he's lost out here, just backed off momentarily, and he's been done.
It's good old scrap going on here, isn't it? 3 abreast up the hill to the final complex of turns.
Well, it is, and they compress brilliantly here, and through they go, one after the other. Each one swings into the next. You've got to get it absolutely dead right, and if you don't, you're going to get spun out here. A lot of contact possibilities, and they're doing so well here, I have to say. Chanduk is our leader. Look at Timo Glock, though, up into 4th place. Don't forget, he started back leading off row 3, so he's moved up a spot. He's our tip for the race win here. Oh, and they're still coming in, absolutely fanning out here, Gareth, and it really is squeaky bum time coming into some of these corners here. Phenomenal racing once again in Turkey.
Yeah, it's a good Formula Ford race, isn't it? 3 abreast.
And Hirati's come in as well. That's a shame for him as well.
So I wonder if poor old Zuber has suffered from the transmission woes that we've experienced all year in GP2.
Well, there's been so many. The gearboxes of Mechachrome, they've been sending new parts for everybody, just trying to get some kind of reliability in. But, well, there's been cursing going on out there. Timo Glock was one of those who'd suffered. I'm just hoping that his gearbox troubles in Hungary haven't repeated themselves, but I suspect that's what's done for Zuber. And, in fact, Zuber just was left behind on the grid there.
Yeah, I think probably what's happened, don't forget his car was completely rebuilt overnight, and they haven't had a chance to run it at all since. Now the mechanics do what they can, but whenever a car is rebuilt, you have to do an installation lap or two.
Carolina just getting spun out at the back there. It was Gareth in the
yes,
red car.
Yeah.
On board here with Hirati and his Trident machine. Hirati,
that's
just tagging out with the
Mike Conway.
Mike Conway,
what a disaster of a year
can't stay
he's
aboard, can he? Mike, he got into a spin yesterday all on his lonesome, and now he's been helped off, let's say, by Hirati here. Not his own fault, but then again, well, all's fair out there, but Mike Conway will probably disagree. Oh, dearie me. Well, he just got tagged, lost control himself.
But he caught it quite well, actually, Conway. Managed to catch the slide. Unfortunately, as he caught it, Hirati snagged him again. Yeah. Just for good measure.
I'm just wondering who it was. So was that Hirati double contacted with?
Yeah, I believe it was, yeah.
So we'll just keep an eye on Hirati and see how he's doing. And he is in the pit, and it's probably as a result of that contact. Out Up front is Chanduk with Nakajima in second place, and Glock, well, he's cut that gap. It was around about 1.3 seconds, 1.27, and he's getting just a little bit tighter in now. Negrau's starting to think about it, but the top three are all away and on their lonesome, and that's a sad sight as well. The 10 car and Tahinchi, they done.
Yeah, I think Glock is probably being quite smart here, and he's letting Nakajima attack Chanduk. There's no point in Glock attacking Nakajima because Chanduk will escape. However, I think he probably is starting to get to the point now where he thinks, well, given Nakajima his chance, he's not really doing the job. There's only 15 laps to go. It's time to start giving Nakajima a nibble and see if I can get past him.
Well, if you're wondering why, and look at this, well,
It's
nose
out.
end damage,
Yeah.
that's got to be a new nose, surely. And Buemi also, who was tagged and ended up going backwards into, well, nosing into the gravel. He's managed to get himself free. New nose here then.
Yeah, I mean, Buemi was the one who caused it. He stuck
Yeah.
his nose up the inside where he wasn't wanted.
And you nose section, and not a cheap item, I can tell you that.
No, they're not.
Certainly not
A
at
few
this level.
thousands of pounds worth there.
Yes, I remember Prost Racing handing one over to Eurosport as kind of a gift, and the motorsport department were in awe of it. Everyone else was saying, it's just a bit of a car. No, you don't understand. 15 laps remaining. There are our leaders, and P's 1 and 2. I think Glock, you're absolutely right, Gareth, here. I think he's just taking it easy. He's backing off just a little bit and keeping it smoother, but then all of a sudden, it compresses here. Oh, nosing in, and
I think
not
that'll
quite.
cost him, actually. I think Glock might get a good run it and down the front straight now. I think.
Well,
Nakajima,
here we are. Nakajima just getting it a little bit wrong, just having to
There you
back
go.
off. There is Glock. Here comes the
Not
move.
quite long enough the straight, was it, for him?
No, it wasn't just quite there. Well, Glock showing his intention, and suddenly Nakajima backs, and look at that. Well, Chanduk has just got away
That's the problem.
as
That
a
is the
result.
difficulty.
It's exactly what you were saying, Gareth. When do you mount your challenge? He's going to have to do one soon. Timo Glock yesterday, in case you're wondering why he started where he did, he was on the front row at the start, got a tremendous start, but not as good as his teammate, Mr. Zuber. He came through and foxed Filippi, who just got it very, very wrong. Poor old Glock, though, was caught while leading, or while up there amongst the leaders. He was caught out. Zuber had vaulted him, and when the safety car came out because of Mike Conway's spin, it meant that Glock was trapped out of the sequence. And when he finally did come into pit, he rejoined in 8th place and really battled through for the position that he managed to finish in, 4th, which was great. And it was that effort which means that we think that Glock will come through here. He's clearly happy passing on this circuit, Gareth.
That was a significant move we saw then. That was Degrassi going past Adam Carroll for the final points position into 6th. And what that means, if it stays like this, with Glock in 3rd and Degrassi in 6th, Degrassi will keep his championship lead. If he stayed behind Carroll, Glock would have left today as championship leader.
All right, well, thank you for your for the computer.
You're welcome.
Yes, indeed.
My pleasure.
In case you're wondering why it's me, Carlton Kirby, it's because Martin Haven has other duties so far this weekend on what is a very, very busy racing weekend. Gareth Rees is the ever-present genius here, especially when it comes to the numbers, as you just heard. Chanduk is our leader. Nakajima chasing him down. Glock trying to stay more than in touch. He wants to pounce, but is just biding his time for the time being. Carroll and Degrassi have swapped spots, and there is our lead trio here. This is fascinating, Gareth. I just hope we manage to stay with him, because something could happen at any moment here.
I think we probably will now that Tahinchi's out the race.
I'm not saying that Glock is like that. Certainly he wasn't sparing the horses yesterday, but when a driver's sort of had a bit of ill fortune, it must just start to creep into your mind when you're in a situation like this.
It could affect your confidence, certainly,
Yeah.
but I think in this situation that wouldn't be an issue. I think he'd be focused exactly on the job in hand, which is getting a win. I mean, a win is within reach. It's just working out the puzzle how to get it.
What happened to Villar today? He was started off on row 6, and well, usually a sprint specialist, constantly keeps picking up points here and there. Usually gets himself in a decent position in race 1 to do the business later on. Looking at Rizzati there, the new boy, and just losing another spot. That's for 16th place. Susek going by. Patino's also waiting to feast upon him.
Yeah, he's done around the outside.
And Pantano it was indeed. 12 laps remaining as the leaders cross the line, and well, Glock, well, still stalking his prey. There's a goodly gap, you have to say, to Negrão, Garcia and Adam Carroll. Just a little bit further back, Di Grazia has actually moved by him.
Yeah, he's up behind Garcia. Oh, big grass tracking behind in the background. Is that Pantano or Petrov?
Well, it's Pantano, and just getting it a little bit dirty. I think they've got that. Yes, it is Pantano, the 25 car. Pantano and Petrov swapped numbers. Can you believe that? How uncomfortable is that at the beginning of the season? Apparently, Pantano liked the number 25. It was as simple as that, and Petrov didn't give a damn. I'm surprised that the organisers allowed them to do it, but there you go. Chanduk is the leader, ahead of Nakajima and Glock, as we've been saying, but Negrão, well, he seems to be a bit of a cork in the bottle here, Gareth.
He does, which suits the front three quite nicely, doesn't it? It lets them get on with the job in hand of scrapping who's going to win the race.
So through they come again. These tight corners, Gareth, there's very little option when you're at this speed, and Nakajima seems to be building himself here, I have to say. Glock just dropping back ever so slightly, and looking at their lap times, they're creeping up here. The sort of lead 8 cars all sub 1:38, and the rest of them kind of sadly just quite a way off that pace, you have to say. It's a field you can almost draw a line through the centre of, Gareth, in terms of talent. Oh, has a look, and contact, and that's what he wanted. Glock goes into the lead. The Glock takes it.
Chandok's
Chandok has absolutely tagged by Nakajima, who tried to go through, slammed the door shut. Glock said thank you very much. It's exactly what we were suspecting. And Glock, wise man that he is, was giving them enough space to hang themselves, and that's what they've done.
Yeah, we said earlier on about Nakajima's rough edges. Well, there's one there. That was just ridiculous, and time and again he looked up the inside of that turn, and it's not a place to overtake, because at best all you're going to do is compromise your exit speed onto the straight, as we saw a couple of times. Chandok didn't deserve that. That was unfair.
Okay, and Chandok and Durango will be less than pleased, and I think that is a day done. So 11 laps remaining. Let's take a look at it again. He swings into it here. There is Nakajima. Now then, Gareth, whose fault? Nakajima?
Well, Chandok goes wide, but it's just not there, is he? I mean, you can see here where the contact's made. He's not even alongside. He's just about got his front right tyre alongside Chandok's left rear. Well, that's not good enough. To make a move stick, you've got to be, alongside his cockpit at least. You know what? I think drivers quite often think they must have been seen when they just have not been. I think he knew then. I think he went for it, and as soon as he'd gone for it and committed himself, he realised it wasn't going to work. But he should have realised that the last time he tried it and the time before. We saw him do that 2 or 3 times. Yeah, it's not on there. It's not going to happen. Well. Glock is the man that's inherited the lead as a result, and poor old Chandok finds himself at the end of what was a beating by Nakajima. Really just didn't have the line through. Certainly should have backed out of it. I have to say though, Chandok did go very wide, and the door was opened but closed. I think it was a jar, wasn't it? Exactly. It was a jar. The temptation was there, but. Well, we've said it before, Gareth, there's a number of lines in here. It's quite broad, this circuit, on a number of occasions, but when it comes to the curves, there really is one single line out of it, and out of it is Chandok, I'm afraid, and it is Nakajima now who finds himself in second place, behind Glock, who just waited absolutely correctly to take advantage. I think your timing screen's locked up there, Gareth. I think you're right. I'm about to throw a brick through it. 10 laps remaining. Gasly's not a man to mess with at all. 10 laps to go, and Glock, well, he did what was required, just held himself back. He was always trailing around about second and a half behind, and then all of a sudden just waited for them to hang themselves. That's exactly what has happened here. And Nakajima, I think, are very lucky to be in second place, and apparently without damage. We'll wait and see. Oh no, a little bit of dirt dragged on by Rodriguez. What's he going to do to the car behind? He was lucky to get away with that. He was lucky to get away. It was Philippi, wasn't it? Nearly collecting him. Well, as Gareth Rees tries to reboot his timing screens, 10 laps to go, and let's take a look at this corner. There it is. Rodriguez, well, grass tracking.
Yeah, that little bit of AstroTurf, that caught a few out yesterday. It suddenly stops and goes to dirt when you'd expect it to continue. And, well, dirty tyres don't make for decent speed, and that's exactly what you've seen. Only 9 laps remaining, and Timo Glock, it is out in front. Nakajima in second place.
Interestingly, sorry, can't butt in. Carroll's got back past De Grassi.
He has. Carroll's moved past De Grassi, and he just sits behind Garcia now. And, well, thankfully, that little section has untangled himself. Negrão is trailing, though, Nakajima for the time being by 4.7 seconds. So the lead pair really have got their own race here, and I can't see Nakajima getting anywhere close to Glock, and he's already trailing him by almost 2 seconds, Gareth. Points here, he's in the final point scoring position. That's not going to happen. Well, it's going to be a drive-through penalty, and, well, they've clearly been listening to you, Gareth.
That'll put a smile on Glock's face.
Or maybe they've been watching it. Well, Timo Glock now knows that all he has to do is bring it home, and he'll be back atop the championship, which, to be fair, I think that's where he belongs. Yeah,
absolutely. I'm not going to get on that high horse again, but yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think it'll give him a 2-point lead to go away with, so, you know, not that far from what he had coming into the weekend, so he has to be fairly pleased with that given yesterday's problems.
Oh, that's tight, and who's going to take it out of this one? Finally, they back out and just keep it sensible.
That's a typical Adam Carroll move. That is fantastic, going past Garcia for 4th place there.
And De Grassi clearly annoyed. This is not a man who's quite sparing with his feelings. He's been issuing press statements about his own team throughout the week, saying that if they can give me the car, then I can do the business. Well, that's out of... Oh, dearie me. Rosati and Tahinci, I beg your pardon.
Showing this, of course, they're showing it again because it's Tahinci, but
yes, they're showing
this happened about 5 laps ago, didn't it?
That was some time ago, but Tahinci, the local favourite, as I'm sure you can gather why. We saw nothing more than him yesterday, it seemed, on occasion, but Tahinci is got tagged there a little bit earlier on, an earlier incident. Back out then, the number 2 car, Luca Di Grazzi. Yes, he's been issuing press statements about his team, saying that they have to give me the car. Yesterday, if you'd heard his post-race interview, it was all about the driver. Well, there you go. But unfortunately, drive-through penalty, and
you know what that was for, actually. I can't think how he's
I thought we were going to see it, but it was a Tahinci replay from earlier on, so there you go. Nakajima and Negrão, there's the gap between those two. That's closing just a little bit. It was 4.7 seconds 7 seconds not so long ago. And Adam Carroll, nice to see him in a point scoring position, solidly in 4th place, and well, quite frankly, I'd like to see him have a crack at Negrão, but I think the gap at the moment just a little bit too much, and Adam's not been entirely comfortable on this track this weekend, Gareth.
Well, he's still got a podium position, so he can't worry too much about that. But yeah, yesterday Pantano certainly was the quicker of the two in this little scrap they were involved in for most of the race.
Yeah, just the front end seemed to just disappear from Adam later on, and Nakajima. Well, there you go. I think that was the contact earlier on, or is it just a drive-through for causing that incident in the first place?
Flashed up drive-through, have they?
No, they haven't flashed up drive-through unless we've actually missed it. It's a long trawl through, and I think
straight through.
There you go. Right, it was because of that attack
that he got.
Yes, exactly, and it was deemed to be his fault, and taking out the leader. Well, naughty boy, down he goes, and that's good news for Adam Carroll as well. He bumps up to another podium spot, and Timo Glock, well, he's got all the time in the world just to drive this one home, so I suspect we're going to be focusing a little bit further down the field from now on.
Yeah, that gives him an 8-second gap to Negrão, doesn't it? So that's pretty comfortable. There you go. The drive-through penalty that we've just seen. Thanks for that.
Thank you very much. He's going quickly, Gareth.
Yeah, here's the scrap for 2nd. We've got Adam Carroll just 1 second down the road from Negrão, so 2 laps to go. I'm not sure he's quite close enough to take the challenge to Negrão.
They're further back, and our apologies to Mr. Petrov. There he is, indeed, in 5th place. Garcia, very, very close together. Adam Carroll is solidly in that 3rd place, and I don't think he's going to get back at him, to be honest, Gareth. Yesterday, Adam, he's quick, naturally enough, got on the podium, but he didn't seem overly happy, I have to say, particularly towards the end of the race on this circuit. And he's had such a difficult weekend. Yesterday got caught out in the pitting behind the safety car. The entire field came in, and he had to cede his place to his teammate, Andreas Zuber. And Bruno Senna's just gone wild and out. That was off a final point scoring position, and that'll be Filippi that comes in. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, was it Senna or Zaug? I couldn't see the helmet clearly. It's Senna, their teammates, and it's either Senna or Zaug.
Well, it was captioned as Senna, but you never know here, unfortunately. We've had a couple of caption errors so far today, but nothing too serious, and certainly it's been a great day for Timo Glock. We know that much. He's had a dream day today. It's kind of played into his hands. Timo Glock. Well, how your fortunes can change. Yesterday, he was the man who was perhaps the most aggrieved and disappointed. Despite a fantastic performance, he only managed to come home in 4th place. Today, he's won the sprint race and puts himself back, more importantly, atop the championship standings. Negrão holds on for 2nd place. Adam Carroll just couldn't quite close the gap towards the end. And coming home are the rest of them. Garcia, followed by Petrov. Well, those are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just waiting to see who gets credited with that 6th spot here, Gareth. A little bit of confusion towards the end with one of the spinners, but no doubt about the winner here. It's Glock, and superb style as well. Well, something that iSport can actually take from that. They had a nightmare day yesterday. Zuber crashing out of the lead effectively, and well, Glock just having to battle back after getting trapped out by the pit sequence. Well, he's come through today, Gareth, in fine style.
Yeah, good. Hopefully that marks a change in their fortunes, in their luck. Because obviously he's well pleased that Di Grassi didn't get points today. That goes down as a bit of good fortune on his part. Yeah,
and I think ill fortune as well for Di Grassi, you've got to say, because as you quite rightly pointed out, Di Grassi across the line, but well, hardly pushing it. Yeah, Di Grassi livid quite rightly, I think, today. He's got justification, called in for rear-ending another car coming into a curve. Gareth Rees believes it was a racing incident. I tend to agree with him. But Timo Glock finds himself up there, back up atop the standings, Gareth, and that's where we think he belongs. Luca Di Grassi yesterday, he got the victory, but it really was about everyone else making mistakes yesterday. Mind you, you could say the same for Glock today.
yeah, he could do. I mean, he inherited the lead when Nakajima took Chandok out, didn't he? That's Paul Jackson from iSport, looking pretty pleased with things.
Good. Yeah, not exactly cock a hoop, but certainly he's taken something from this weekend, which yesterday looked like being a very difficult one for him.
That's right. They go away from here leading the championship still, so that's the most important thing.
Yeah, because then, of course, it's all in your own hands, and that's where any team needs to be out front. So then,
we did. Senna was in 6th place, by the way. It was Zaug that retired.
There we have it.
They captioned it incorrectly.
So, Gareth Rees is correct. Mr. Caption was wrong. No surprise there. Senna's picking up the final point then in this one, just edging out Filippi, who was, well, I have to say 1.1 seconds further down the road than him. Confirmation of the finishing order then for you. Petrov, it was that managed to get 5th spot, just behind Garcia. Adam Carroll on the podium again. Great to see. Good news for him, good news for his team as well. Adam, of course, coming in to kind of pick up the pieces of what was a disastrous start to the season for FMS, and then has been driving superbly ever since. So well done to him and his team. Negrão just missing out this time, but the man in front of him, the class of the field today, and in fact I think all weekend, although the result didn't go for him yesterday.
Yes, no question, and I think you know, your confidence can get affected when you keep getting bad luck, but he just has to look at his pace. Every time he's in the car, he's super quick. And I think going into the last 3 races of the season now, you know, he should be the one with his tail up, because he knows he's competitive every time he goes out in the car.
So there is the Drivers' Championship, and I don't think that's correct.
I don't think it is either. That's the championship as of this morning.
That is the championship as of this morning.
That's pre-race 2.
So Timo Glock is in fact now on 66 points, and Di Grassi stays there on 64. So 2 points clear is the man who's happy on your screen at the moment. Rather unusual celebration. I'm not sure what he was telling us there. And but anyway, that caption was incorrect. So please ignore that. We've had a number of problems with the captions so far today. That's probably the worst of them, I have to say. There we go. So in fact, it is is Timo Glock that tops the standings, just to be firm about that, on 60, 2 points clear, 66 points, 2 points clear off Luca Di Grazzi. Turkey, it's been great racing, round 8 and GP2. Hope you're satisfied.